Today we're going to speak about Simone Whyte-Barrington, a Jamaican national who made her home here in Antigua and Barbuda and whose life was taken from her at the young age of 40 by someone she was in a relationship with. Simone moved to Antigua to create a better life for her and her family, and Simone worked as a hairdresser for the time that she was here. At the time of this incident, Sean was 35 years old, and from all the information I've gathered, it seems as though this relationship was a rocky relationship between Simone and Sean. This relationship seems to have gotten to a point where it was unsustainable. So Simone was trying to get out of the relationship, but it seems as though Sean was having a hard time letting go. Now, it got to the point where Sean was showing up at Simone's workplace all the time, and Simone had to be chasing him away from the workplace time and time again. Simone went to the police a few days before the incident happened, maybe a few weeks before the incident happened, and she made a report to the police that Sean had threatened to kill her and then kill himself. Now, the police, when they did get in contact with Sean, he denied ever saying that. Even though he denied saying that, the police warned him to not interfere with Simone and stop showing up at her workplace and stay away from her. But he did not listen. On the 14th of November 2020, Simone attended a friend's party that was held at her business place on the corner of Tanner and Market Street. While there, Sean showed up and, unprovoked, stabbed Simone. After the attack, Sean fled the scene. He went to his friend's house, but he could not get any refuge at his friend's house. So he then went to his grandmother's house, where he was eventually caught by the police. At this point, we're made aware that Simone did not make it. She received a stab to her neck, and it was fatal. Now, when the police apprehended Sean, he also had stab wounds, and he stated that Simone attacked him, and that's why he retaliated and stabbed her. However, when the police checked the surveillance cameras for the business, it was clear that this was a lie. There was no confrontation, there was no fight, there was no argument, and Simone did not stab Sean. On the 27th of January 2022, Sean Mussington was formally charged for the murder of Simone Barrington White. Now, at the trial, Sean had made a few statements in his defense in regards to the relationship he had with Simone. In his defense, Sean claimed that throughout the relationship, Simone mentally abused him, used him financially, and continued to have relationships with other men, even though she knew this was hurting his feelings. However, we all know that that is still not an excuse to murder someone. Now, Simone had 3 children, And her parents describe how much damage this has caused their family, as Simone was also a strong supporter of their family. In March 2025, Sean Mussington was found guilty of murder by an 11-member jury. Now, Sean's sentence was 30 years, with the credit of 1,698 days already spent in jail. And when he has spent 20 years, he will be able to be up for a review. Now, this is the end of the case. It was a tragic case. Simone seemed to have been a very strong supporter of her community, a loving mother, and a cherished friend. And this was a tragic, tragic loss. Sean is said to be remorseful and claims he did not mean to kill her. However, he did. This is a sobering reminder of how obsession, control, and unresolved conflict can escalate into irreversible violence. A woman seeking peace lost her life. 3 children lost their mother, and a man now faces decades behind bars, not because of love, but because he refused to let go. I want to hear from you. Do you think police warnings should carry stronger legal consequences when ignored? At what point does persistence become stalking? Should prior threats weigh more heavily in sentencing decisions? Do you think 30 years was an appropriate sentence in this case? What warning signs stood out to you the most in this story? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you for listening. Until we have another story, I will see you soon.